there, Aquarius. Welcome to your end of May 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here, and I hope it doesn't seem too dim. I have the lights off, even though, okay, I'm gonna, some of these cards are upright. I got messed up here, so let me shuffle this back into the deck. I'm just putting these in little piles. I just don't feel like turning on the light. But someone said, it seems like you're in the dark. And, you know, yeah, I don't use ring lights. I don't have ring lights. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pick an additional card. Okay. Alrighty. So we have the Tower in the challenge position. The Heart of the Matter, the Ace of Swords. This is a card of kind of gaining mental clarity about something that perhaps you were in denial about, or Mercury in Pisces, for instance, for you Aquarians. I don't think Aquarians overall, in and of themselves, have, you know, more denial than other people. You're actually swords, you know, so this is connecting to you and what you're about. But that idea of, you know, gaining clarity over something that maybe you were in the dark about, and yes, it can involve somebody else's deception too. But even the next move to make, if you've been ambivalent or just anything really in any area of life. In the past position, we have the Six of Swords. This can be that you have chosen in the recent past to leave a situation that has been full of drama, for instance, and something like that. That could be in the home environment or in the love life, or maybe they're one and the same for you. Interestingly, at the beginning of May, we had a well, I was thinking of Scorpio. No, so that's actually the different direction. So scratch that. Well, you know, we had a full moon in Scorpio, and that's your 10th house of career. So that could have been some developments with career that kind of convinced you that you need to exit that job or even profession itself, that you've had enough, or simply that you've done all that you can do. And so now you kind of gained clarity on that. So sometimes it takes a while as you move away from something to fully disengage with it. And even with the home front, the 4th house for you is Taurus, and we have, you know, recently had a new moon in Taurus, and, you know, other planets that have gone through Taurus, and therefore there may have been something that made you, you know, go into a different kind of a thought about your home. Maybe even if you haven't sold your home, you're at least thinking about moving. And so the Six of Swords could represent that, where perhaps before you were like fine with it, and you decided, nah, this isn't going to be something that I can sustain. I just don't feel it anymore. And the higher message is the Page of Swords. So this is about kind of maintaining that vigilance. Also, just in general in life, about paying attention to things that are going on. So for instance, if somebody was deceiving you in some way, and you just had your head in the clouds and you weren't really paying attention, Aquarius. You may have allowed a bad situation to get worse. And the lesson is to always be aware of that. You're like the absent-minded professor. You're very visionary and ahead of your time and incredibly brilliant intellectually, but you may be oblivious to what's right under your nose. And that can lead to, especially with personal relationships, waking up one day and finding out that somebody has been, somebody could be cheating on you for a year and you probably wouldn't even pay attention to that. Or even in the workplace, if this was something that wasn't right and you realize that you had to leave, it pays to, be on top of these things. What crosses you is the Tower. Now, I think what this can mean is that because you're a fixed sign, Aquarius, you may be adverse to change. And this may be, for some Aquarians, why you might be in denial, where you don't want to have to make changes. So it's easier just to accept the situation for what it is and hope that it will get better, knowing that things don't really work like that life doesn't work like that. Things do not get better just because you don't pay attention to them. And then the universe provides an unnasty surprise that seems to come out of nowhere, but really has been, it should have been, you should have anticipated it. And the fact that you didn't means that you weren't really wanting to admit that this was going on. And you ignore things to your own, at your own peril, because you want to actually, be proactive in life and not someone who is kind of refusing to take action when it's needed. Obviously, micromanaging isn't the answer either, but somewhere in between. What is coming in is the Nine of Pentacles. This can be like financial independence. I feel like this card in general can be something that is quite comfortable with one's finances, that you're not worried that you need somebody else to help you, that you're self-sustaining, in other words. And so if you are leaving a job, you're not worried about, even if you don't have another one, you're not worried about that. You know that you're going to have one when you need one, and in the meantime, you're good to go by yourself. So you feel like you have what it takes to support yourself in the meantime. And if this is a personal relationship, you're not staying with somebody over that area of life. Who knows? Maybe in some cases, this was financial exploitation in a relationship, and you did not read your bank statements, and you didn't realize that the other party was, running down your bank account. And that kind of thing, and it was like an unpleasant surprise to find that out. But now that you have separated from that other party, or plan to, if all of this is kind of in the works, there's that sense of, okay, now I'm going to be totally autonomous financially, and I don't have to worry about this person doing this in the future. Even if I have lost some money temporarily, in the long run, it's going to pay off. Now, I did pick this as an outcome card, and I picked an additional card. The outcome is the Five of Cups, and this is about allowing yourself to grieve the loss of something on the obviously on the emotional level, because this is cups. And that means that you're not trying to sweep it under the rug. You're really being, trying to process whatever that Tower card represents. You're trying to process it. And who knows, maybe this is an inheritance issue even that got resolved or is in the process of getting resolved. And somebody was trying to kind of get one over on you. And it may have been something that kind of separated you from family members in some cases because you wanted to maintain your sanity and your peace of mind. So understanding that, this is one of the terrible things when there are these kinds of situations, specifically I'm talking about those dealing with inheritance issues, is that in addition to the loss of the person who has passed away, there are these ugly things that can happen that create more loss. And sometimes Aquarians can be, especially certain sets of Aquarians, because of other things that are going on in their chart, can be quite detached from it on the emotional level and kind of function, and then it hits them later on, once everything is resolved. Oops, now this thing is going to really fall. And it's sad because it kind of may take a while. This can happen to anyone though. I've heard this before where they grieve the loss of something or someone in a kind of delayed way. And that can bring its own set of challenges because then the person feels like, why am I not over this? Well, that's because you never really dealt with it to begin with. And so I did pick a clarification card, and I got the Two of Pentacles, and this is basically about perhaps having a lot on your plate at the moment, and maybe that is one of the reasons why you haven't had time to be able to really just focus on healing from something. And so it's coming in waves. And also, this can indicate 2 jobs, 2 sources of income. So perhaps there is, if you have even gotten a new job in the meantime, you may be starting something on your own as well. And in personal relationships, this sense of even ambivalence about what to do next. This feeling of like, if there's anybody else that you're interested in, you may feel like, I don't know if I'm ready to go back into that, go back into the frying pan out of the fire. I think I'd rather just sit this one out right now. And definitely there's this idea of, going away from the source of conflict. So I hope this resonated with some of you. It's a little bit obscure. But in any case, if you're interested in a private reading, Aquarius, I do mostly astrology-based readings. You can check out what I have to offer in the link below. And I thank you for watching. I hope the rest of your month of May is great. Take care. Bye.